Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. We're going to talk about this week's sponsor, Joe's Shrimp Shack. Joe's Shrimp Shack has the finest shrimp all the way from Plymouth, Minnesota. That's in the metro down by Minneapolis, St. Paul. They will ship anywhere in the nation the sweetest and freshest shrimp. You can check their website, joeshrimpshack.com, for amazing deals like the very popular blackberry shrimp, fire red cherry shrimp, or even snowball shrimp if you have black sand in your tank.
I would like to have some snowball shrimp because I bet you they would do well out here in my front yard with all the damn snow.
They're shrimp. I mean, you were Googling, snowballs, ho-hos, and ding-dongs. This is shrimp for your aquarium, Jimmy.
Look at me. I eat a lot of ho-hos, ding-dongs, and things like that.
How could you?
I know.
Stick to Twinkies.
Do it.
Go to joeshrimpshack.com for 10% off using promo code AquariumGuys at checkout. It supports the show and allows you to get some dank shrimp.
And he's got 10% off, so get out there and spend some money.
Just a little bit. And don't forget our charity of choice.
Ho, ho, ho. Big Rich.
That was a Santa Claus ho-ho-ho.
Well,
you know that.
It's very close to Christmas and stuff, but Big Rich over there in Ohio.
The Ohio Fish Rescue needs some love. They just purchased 2 amazing tanks from the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas. It was on the show Tanked, and they actually had to haul them and transport them. There's multiple YouTube videos showing their struggles and their back pains. Please consider donating to them, ohiofishrescue.com. You can buy a t-shirt, donate on anything like PayPal, GoFundMe, or just call them and tell them you love them.
I got tanked at the Bellagio one time. It's kind of fun.
Not the same thing.
No, okay.
Not the same
Just
thing.
checking.
All right, let's kick that podcast.
Welcome to the Aquarium Guys podcast with your hosts, Jim Colby and Rob Zolson.
Welcome one and all to the Aquarium Guys podcast. Today, we're going to do something not very aquarium-like. So I once upon a time watched the show How to Buy a Zoo, I think it was. Something like that.
Oh,
Do you remember that movie?
yes, Leave It to Beaver.
No. It was literally a movie, beginning to end, of I Bought a Zoo, I think it was called, right?
We Bought a Zoo.
We Bought a Zoo?
Yeah.
We bought a zoo.
We bought a zoo.
Yeah.
Right. So this is way better. We have Dusty from Vergas, Minnesota, with, I'm going to pronounce this correctly, Trowbridge Creek Zoo.
That's correct.
I always want to say Toe, but there's an R in it.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
And some people say Troll
Troll
Bridge.
I like
but
that better.
It is kind of cooler, but yeah, it's not the name of the lake, so.
Well, thanks for joining the podcast. We have so much.
I like Troll Bridge better, actually.
I know they pay a toll to get in. I mean, it only makes sense.
That's right. You should put some trolls underneath a bridge and come on, just scare the crap out of kids. Boogity, boogity, boogity.
That's a good idea.
So thanks for coming out again. And again, I'm your host, Rob Zolson.
Hey, I'm Jim Colby.
And I'm Adam Elmashar.
Hey, Adam, how's it going down there in southern Minnesota?
Pretty good.
He gets all the
We
nice
survived
weather.
our blizzard.
You had a blizzard on Saturday also up here, and it was cold and dank and angry.
Dank is no, not dank.
Dank's not a word?
Not in that scenario.
Oh, okay.
They
Did-
changed
did
it.
you
My
know-
generation changed it for you.
Yeah.
Yes. We
Did
giggled
you-
it on the inner tubes.
There you go. That's all we need.
Jim learned a new word.
Dank.
Dank.
Yeah.
He learned it in the advertisement this week.
Yeah, just before we got that blizzard, it was the cold front that came through that was named after my ex-wife.
Oh,
And that was cold and bitter and angry and in your face.
it's okay, you guys. This is each week. This is Jim's therapy. Just to
It
let
is.
you know,
I can't afford to go to therapy anymore because she took all my freaking money.
everything in time, sir.
All right, so now you guys are my therapy, so let's get this on.
So this week, we're going to be talking a little bit outside the aquarium. I think that everybody should look outside just normal aquarium, typical aquarium places to look. Like we've had the DNR as a wonderful podcast. We learned breeding secrets and how they do things on a budget.
On a budget from 1951.
There's a lot of things that the traditional aquarist can learn from non-traditional points, and I think it's wonderful to have a privately owned zoo owner on here to learn some secrets about maybe business management, and maybe we can convince him to put small aquariums in there, get something going. So we'll go halfway. We'll meet you here, and then you'll meet us there, right?
Yep, of course.
Wonderful.
So did you bring any wolves or anything along today?
I thought about bringing a lemur, but
Ooh, we should have brought a lemur because Robbie's got cats, and I don't think that would be fun for
Right,
everybody.
it'll be a change. Instead of having your puppy shit on you, it'll be some sort of primate.
My ex-wife
That would be
again.
cool.
I'll talk about another primate pooping on me there.
So-
I have a lot of bitterness.
Whoa. We get cute points here. Anybody that has a puppy or kitten, they get higher viewership. So, Jimmy, please tell us about your new puppy.
Well, Robbie sent me the top 20 podcasts in Canada, and we made number 15. And the only people that beat us were all the people that own dogs. So last week I bought a puppy just so we can move up in the rankings.
Darn right. So your puppy is named Moose. Is that correct?
His name is Moose. He's angry at the world. He's chewing up cords and stealing slippers and stuff like that. Things that puppy does.
So go to our Facebook page. I'll make sure that if not Jim does it, we'll make sure that Jen posts a picture of the puppy.
A moose.
So a couple updates before we get into the interview, because we have to update our audience, right? We're not going to take emails this week. We did get a few, however, but we want to put out there that we had some people that are interested in Charlie the Catfish.
Cool. Let's get rid of that thing.
So after the last podcast, we said that it's open for anybody and they have to pay shipping. So all they're waiting for, Jimmy, is you to get pictures for these poor people.
I have to go down there with a wrangling net to get him out, and I need help. I need like 6 or 7 strong people to help me out.
We'll get there. So we're going to get you those pictures, and first come, first serve. We got a couple people that message on Facebook, so go to our Facebook page again, Aquarium Guys podcast group, and you'll see some pictures of it. If they don't take them, it's still on the board. We've got to get pictures out there.
And one thing I want to throw out there too is that I have not mailed out the plant bulbs yet because we have been in the extreme cold, 15 below, 20 below for a high. I did check into it. We can't mail these plant bulbs and let them freeze, and so we're working on getting some better packaging to send them out to you. We haven't forgot about you. They're on their way. Now, at the end of our week, we're supposed to warm up, so we'll get them sent out to you.
That, and you order the first batch of or the first batch of bulbs, and a friend of yours put them in the tank to sprout them already for
That's
you.
right. I brought them in. I brought in like 100 plant bulbs, and I was going to send them out. And when I got there, she goes, "Hey, I threw them in a tank for you so they'd sprout for you." And they were all like 4 or 5 inches already. So I had
Can't
to,
send living plants.
You're right. I had to reorder. So they are here. They are at my house. I'm just waiting for it to warm up a little bit.
I only got like a couple text messages from the group, so they're waiting.
Well, they're going to get them.
They're wanting their bulbs.
And if you're angry about it, just call Rob in the middle of the night and yell at him. I don't care.
Well, we have this wonderful place where you can complain. Go to our website, aquariumguyspodcast.com. On the bottom of the website, you'll see Discord. Discord's a chat opportunity, and we have a pile of people, deep into 3 digits of people on here continually, all hours of the night, because we have people in UK, Australia. So the party never stops. The Aquarium Guys Discord. Go on there and complain. You get to talk to Jimmy directly if he's feeling in a good mood.
I was on it just before Christmas. I should probably go on there and harass some people.
You can. You'll see the Arnold memes and all the goodies.
That's not very nice, by the way.
So also, you'd be looking, there's an upcoming t-shirt that we're going to be doing, and it's Jimmy's face that's deep fried as a meme, saying I'm going to punch you in the throat. So look forward to those t-shirts. They're going to go on sale very soon.
I am going to get myself a whole bunch of those and just shoot them out of my freaking rocket
T-shirt cannon.
T-shirt cannon, exactly.
Yes.
And
Wait, we have T-shirt cannons?
We are now. Jimmy said so.
I am...
Okay.
We got a few things in the budget we got to, talk about, but I think it'd be fun to hand out t-shirts to people from a t-shirt cannon from about 6 feet away.
Right. Right in
I
the
have
throat.
a list of people we can shoot them at.
There we go. But I already know where my ex-wife lives, so don't worry about that one. I got it covered.
We need to talk about therapy.
But
Dusty, thank you again for joining us in the podcast.
Yes, you're welcome.
So I'm going to try to give a little overview, and please edit where you see fit. I'm just going to do my best here.
Okay.
So a few years ago, you decided that you're not going to buy a zoo, you're going to build a zoo.
Correct.
So let's just start there at the beginning of this whole operation. What, induced the idea that I need to make a zoo in my front yard?
Right. Well, I tell a lot of people this. It actually started as a hobby, and it got out of control. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to that. But it started...
It's like he's a fish guy.
just going to say that, yeah.
It all started 20 years ago now. Back in 2000, I decided to buy a couple white-tailed deer to raise just as a hobby, like I said. And so I got deer at first, and that moved into elk and buffalo. And
Just for fun, not for the
Just for fun,
amazingly tasty backstraps.
Right, yeah, just for fun. Something in the backyard. After a while... met some other exotic animal people and worked out a deal and got a kangaroo.
Where do you meet these people? Let's start that.
What club are you clubbing at?
There's places.
We have some unique people in a fish hobby. Where do you find people to get a kangaroo? Or anything else crazy for that example?
There is some exotic animal sales. Most of them in Minnesota are more like sheep and goat sales, but,
So you have to travel out of state for these things.
Most of the time I do, yes.
So where to? Give us some examples.
I go to Missouri a lot. I've gotten stuff out of Texas, New York. I've sold stuff to Florida, Michigan, kind of all
Literally
over the country.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So you're just part of this, Weirdos fan club network, and you just
Yeah.
go where the freaks are.
Yeah, we just call ourselves animal people or exotic animal people.
I've been to a
and,
couple of those, and they're dressed up in costumes, and that's a furry thing.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure when you're looking at these, no furries, you're looking for animal people. All right?
Right.
And I've had some people that have been down in the Missouri one. Now,
Yeah.
is that the one that's 2 or 3 days long?
Yeah, it's
mean,
two,
so
I thought that
2
was in
days
Iowa.
on the... Ohio has one as well. There's One in Ohio, one in Missouri. There's one or two in Tennessee. Texas has a couple. Florida has one. But yeah, there's quite a few exotic animal sales around the country.
So what's the craziest thing you've ever seen go through the auction?
Whoa. Before that, have you ever seen an upside down catfish like right next to Jimmy there? Look at that. You don't train that type of stupidity. Look at that.
No. I would think there's something wrong with them.
So hold that thought. We are in now a new podcast studio. We moved it to another side of my house to expand a little more space. So we have a 75-gallon aquarium full of rescue fish. And Fluffy the catfish is a giant squeaker Sedontus. And it decides that it wants to be an upside-down catfish because it looks like this. And I'll send pictures on Facebook all the time. So I decided to take that moment before he flips over.
Yeah, sure.
But back to the question.
So the question, what was the
Like, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen at
Craziest
the
thing?
auction?
I don't know if it's crazy. People don't bring them anymore, but giraffes will come up. The last one I saw, they didn't actually bring it to the sale barn. It was like video auction type deal. And it was a bred female, and I believe it was $260,000 she sold for.
Whoa! Holy
Yeah.
cow! How come we?
How
do
much
not-
was she?
$260,000. But
Okay, I was gonna say I heard that a regular giraffe is about $100,000.
young males, you can get about 45 grand now.
And they're coming down.
No, they're going up. Years ago, I know a guy that paid 20 grand for one, but yeah, they've gone up since then.
Owie.
And the cheapest female I've heard of was 75 grand. So
I mean, how do you transport something that's that tall? I mean, I've seen the bad movies where they go into the overpass and decapitate the darn giraffe. I mean, it's got to be a huge thing to undertaking. To
Well, like a young giraffe, 6 to 8 feet tall. You can get, my camel trailer is 7 foot tall, so
Okay.
It would handle that. If you're hauling a full-size giraffe, you got to find somebody with a giraffe trailer or exotic animal trailer, and they are, I want to say 14 to 6. They're probably 14 feet tall.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of the overpasses I see in the area, are all 17 tall or so, and so I imagine you have to get underneath the overpasses and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, fun fact, right? I did a bit of research, and there are a select few animals that are kosher for, Jewish purposes, and giraffes are kosher.
Oh, all right.
Split huff and chew the cud. So if you do hit one on the overpass, at least you can pack it up for a nice Jewish family.
Sure.
Wow, so you can make some giraffe hot dogs. Perfect.
I can only imagine that a $45,000 animal, though, that might be a bit cost of a steak.
Yeah, you know what? It's amazing when people talk about kosher, and I was in the grocery business for a lot of years. All the equipment is blessed before they start making the product in that particular.
I want to be that
area.
rabbi. Just go in. It's like, yep, this pickle pallet's good. Here's your quota for the next pickle pallets.
I was told I have a friend down in Minneapolis, and what they do is on one particular day of that week, they come in there and they totally tear everything down and clean it and disinfect everything. And then is it the rabbi? I'm sorry if I'm screwing this up.
Rabbi.
As the rabbi comes in and blesses it. He told me how much they spend for the rabbi to come in and bless it, and it is an amazing amount how much money they spend on it. And then they come in and they produce the kosher hot dogs and the different things like that. And then the next day it's just back up and running as a regular butcher shop. But it's just incredible how much money is spent on to make a kosher product.
Just that much
Interesting.
more for draft? Don't worry, we'll get into business together. That's all we're saying.
Sure.
So you decided to start a zoo because you're having a collection.
Yeah.
But it's got to be more than that. I mean, I have a lot of fish. I don't want to start an aquarium yet, Jimmy. Yeah.
I'm not helping you.
Damn.
Yeah.
I got you. Don't worry.
It was, and that, like I said, I've got other animal friends. A lot of them were either had a zoo or starting up a zoo. So,
So this is a common thing. I mean, more than we figure.
yeah.
Because no one hears about people starting a zoo.
Right. And I'd say in the last 10 years or so, there's a lot of newer zoos like myself starting up. For instance, Animal Adventure Park in upstate New York. Remember
Shout out.
April the Giraffe that was a big YouTube hit a
I
few
do.
years ago?
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Funny story for that is owner Jordan Patch, well, I'm Facebook friends with him, just because we're both animal people.
Clearly.
A couple months before that went viral, he made a post. He was wondering if any of his friends, did wireless cameras. He wanted to set it up in his giraffe barn, and he must have figured that out, obviously, and put it on YouTube.
Ta-da.
And,
Well, we're going to have to get on it, man.
yeah, thousands
You
of
got
people
some
later.
ridiculously cute creatures.
Yeah.
So, again, you started to get a collection. You have kids. So you're a stay-at-home dad? Or you had to quit your job?
My wife's a stay-at-home mom.
Stay-at-home mom?
Yeah.
So what did you do before a zoo?
I got a farming background, so
You were a handyman, farmer, all in the area?
Yeah, I think all farmers are kind of jack of all trades.
Pretty
so,
much. You got to fix it anyway. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, and it's cheaper to do it yourself than to.
so rather
hire
than
somebody else.
farming, you'd rather scoop kangaroo poo.
Yeah, it was dairy farming, and anybody that knows cattle, there's a lot of crap. I mean, a lot of crap.
I grew up on the farm. I have to agree with him.
Yeah,
A lot of crap.
yeah. Bovine in general, just
It's not
a
what you
lot
want to
of
be
bull.
in.
Yeah,
A lot of bull.
Because all those cows got 19 stomachs or something like that, and they're busy all the time.
yeah.
So the light bulb went off. You were talking to some of these people. They're starting zoos. Like, what if I could start a zoo?
And
So how do
they
you
were-
make a business
They
plan
were
with
all
that?
successful. Again, I talked to my animal friends. Like, okay, like the let's say Brainerd, for instance. You know, I can't remember what the population. Let's say 20,000.
Right.
And they were getting like 20,000 visitors a year. Bemidji, same deal, 13,000, 13. You know, so that's kind of your.
So you
kinda-
use other people's metrics to go, they have X people, this
Yep.
is how many people can show up.
Yep.
So you have a kind of an estimation of numbers.
Yep.
And you just decided, well, let's give this a try. Worst case scenario, I already have a bunch of weird animals.
Right. I was halfway there. So
You know, it's not that big of a risk, and you did the research. So let's pretend that Robbie is going to open up an aquarium,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the area, there's probably, 30,000 people through all the small lake area, I'm
Yep.
assuming, because there are, 10 in Detroit Lakes, and then
Yeah.
probably another 20 for all the small.
Yep. See,
small area.
I went off Detroit Lake's population. They're just under 10,000, so that's the number I went off, and that's what we hit the first year is 10,000 people.
Fantastic. So if you have a populace of it, you're just expecting with all the vacationers in our area
Yep.
that it'll meet the exact population, give or take.
Yep. Give or take. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. I would have not expected any of those numbers just be on the outside
Yeah.
for
So
business.
that gives you a number for a formula. You got X amount of people times whatever your admission rate is. How much money are you going to generate selling admission? You know, and then you of course there's costs involved
course.
as well, and
shots, licenses with the USDA. There's
Yep.
all types of feeds,
Feed.
vet bills for the stuff that you
vet
can't take
bills,
care of.
advertising's a big one.
Yeah, a whole marketing budget.
Yeah.
Without that, people don't know it's even there.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to a bunch of city chamber meetings saying, "I have a zoo." Weird.
Yeah.
So was it a huge problem to go and try to get licensed for all this and stuff? I mean, did you get some flyback on you?
2 of the licenses I had already. That's with the Board of Animal Health with all the cervids, all the deer species, and another one is a fur bearers license with Minnesota DNR. All of them,
Whole new deal.
yeah, and those 2 are pretty easy. You know, yeah. The hard one is the USDA exhibitor's license.
Oh, the USDA licenses are a pain in the ass.
Yeah. There's a pre-license inspection, so that you get 3 pre-license inspections. Okay, so I applied in January before the winter before we planned on opening. I think they came out April sometime, and it was like a 5-hour inspection. And this is pre-license.
And they charge you every time they come out, right? Or is this
No,
just a
it's
one-time
a
fee?
yearly license fee.
Okay.
Yeah. So after that first initial inspection, she gave me a list of things I needed to do, and it was like I had to, come up with another $5,000 to fix all the stuff she wanted done, And but I did that, and then I was like, okay, I'm ready. Come, let's do the second inspection. Came back, did the second one. There was a few minor things, so I was able to fix those overnight. They actually stayed in town, just came back the next day, and approved me and everything. So,
Ta-da.
So you pulled an all-nighter.
yeah. Well, it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
It was just a few minor things, But
For those that don't know about the USDA is probably the hardest one to work with. USDA regulates a lot of crap. So one of the things that you told me, Jimmy, was if you're going to bring in turtles, the USDA mandates that you have to have a turtle over 4 inches because of salmonella issues.
Correct.
So
Don't
the
even get me
idea...
started on that bullshit.
Calm down, Adam.
Settle down, Adam.
Calm down. So the idea for the USDA doing this is kids are more likely, especially small children, to take a turtle and put them in their mouth. So their thought behind this process is that they'll take a 4-inch turtle and they're less likely to put them in their mouth. Let me tell you that that's a pile of crap. So if
It
you're
is.
having a turtle, a baby turtle versus a 5-inch turtle, they have the same risk for salmonella.
When I dealt with the USDA, I had read a whole bunch about stuff on it. You have a better chance of getting salmonella poisoning from the chicken juice from the meat market from your local, grocery store. Just by touching the meat, you have a better chance of that than you do of getting salmonella from a turtle. And when we were down in Florida, we went into a lot of pet stores. And when we were down there with my buddy Mark, we were going. Decided one day we're going to rip out the page of the Yellow Pages. And for you people who don't know what the Yellow Pages is, that's a phone book.
It's what Jimmy uses to sit on in his pickup so he can drive.
Yeah, so I can see over the steering wheel. Piece of crud. And punch you in the throat. So we went in all these different pet stores, but every pet store in Florida had 1.5, 2-inch little baby turtles. And their law is that you can have them for educational purposes only. And you can sell them for education. So if you have a daycare, you can take home 4 little turtles to teach your kids. And so we brought that back to Minnesota, and it didn't fly for nothing. We brought back a few turtles and put them in a pet store. They came in and said, you can't do it. And we said, well, Florida's doing it. And they said, that's too bad.
Yeah.
And they asked us to quit doing it, and we quit doing it, and we parted as friends.
Sure, part of his friends.
Sure. Yep, we did.
So yeah, the USDA has a lot of ridiculous legalities, licenses, and I think that's probably the hardest. Is that the same for you, that USDA is the hardest?
It's the hardest. And yeah, since that initial pre-license inspection, I get inspected yearly. They can come anytime. Well,
Kind of like a health inspector. I mean,
Right. They'll
they're
pop in.
gonna check your Chinese food. They're gonna check a zoo.
yeah. I mean, excluding weekends, weekdays, 7 a.m. or
Well,
7 a.m. to
They
7
are
p.m.
a
they can
government
come.
agency. In fact, they probably had today off, which was Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Did you have the day off today, Rob?
I certainly did.
Piece of crap.
Get jealous.
Yeah. Today's Martin Luther King Day, by the way, if you're listening to this podcast at a later date.
Right. What animals did you start out with when you opened the zoo? Like, what was your list? Right?
I wanted to get some of the main popular ones: zebras, camels, kangaroos. We had alligators, wolves, bobcats.
So let's pick out a couple of those, right?
Sure.
Wolves are the most shock. Like, wow, wolves. What type of wolves do you have?
They are tundra wolves.
Oh, the white ones.
They're like a smaller Arctic wolf. Is that correct?
Arctic wolves are the white ones. Tundra wolves, they're they probably look like a
Like a
timber
dirty,
wolf,
like
really.
a dirty wolf. Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
dirty wolf.
Just saying.
We got some that are darker and some that are lighter. We got 4 right now, and
So being at your place, I think that's just incredible seeing the wolves, and they do act like puppies essentially. How they seem to react with you. I'm assuming that they're not that way with everybody, but it's really interesting seeing that at the zoo in person.
yeah. People are like, "Well, that's a dangerous animal there," and well, it is. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, we hand raise those from pups. I myself do go in there generally and play with them, and they're just like big dogs, really. To be honest with you.
So what other critters did you have starting out? Because you've expanded since then.
Yeah, I think we had coatimundis, like I said, the white-tailed deer, elk, some other exotic deer, fallow deer, sika deer, muntjacs.
You did have a petting zoo.
Yep, petting zoo, typical farm animals
Right.
and whatnot, yeah.
Yeah, I got mugged there.
You got mugged.
I got mugged at the goddamn petting zoo.
Oh, please tell the story.
It's kind of embarrassing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Let's hear it.
we already heard your phone book story.
Yeah. But, so anyway, my wife has some family from down in Minneapolis, and they came up, and we drove by one of the signs out on the Highway 10 here, and they said, we should go over there. I said, absolutely. And so we went over there I think it was one Sunday afternoon, the 4 of us went, and we walked around, looked at everything, and then we went over by the petting zoo. And my wife is from the Minneapolis area and not a farm girl. And so she goes up with her hand cupped with some of the feed that we'd bought to feed the animals. And the first thing the little pony did was try to bite her fingers. I don't think he was biting her fingers, but you have to have your hand flat in order for them to try to bite the finger.
Right.
And so me being a he-man, I said, sweetheart, let me show you how to do this. And because I grew up on the farm and I'm tough, and I go over there and I make my hand completely flat and put the food on there, and the thing went for my fingers immediately. And a little dickhead.
It knew you were going to punch it in the throat.
Yeah, and so this is a little tiny Shetland pony that stands up maybe 3 feet.
Oh, if that, yeah.
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 No, it's bigger than that. It's not.
It was like 6 foot.
It's like a
Yeah.
Clydesdale,
Yeah.
people, if you're listening.
It hauled Budweiser as we speak.
Yeah, that's right. And so anyway, after being accosted by this little Shetland pony, I took the feed cup and I went to just feed him out of the cup. And he latched onto the cup with his mouth, and there was a tug of war. And I had both feet pulling as hard as I could, and he's pulling back and forth. And finally, he gets it out of my hand. He steps back 2 steps into the corral, takes the cup in his mouth, he spikes it on the ground, and then he kicks it with his foot. And then all the goats come over and eat it. And I was mugged by a goddamn horse.
We snaw.
Well, you'll be glad to know, Jimmy, those horses are no longer there.
Are they? Are they glue?
They were actually my biggest problem that first year for
they-
reasons like that.
Yeah.
One little girl got bit, drew some blood.
They were just going after the cups, man.
Yeah, they just, they weren't bad before we opened. They just got
So you're
treat crazy, really.
So you're blaming me. Yeah, it's pretty much my fault.
It started with Jimmy and went downhill.
So
So is this on video? Because I really hope
No.
Jen talks about this like it's the best day
it
of her
is.
life.
Everybody about peed themselves watching this and stuff, and there's of course another 6 or 8 people around watching it this time. But no, we didn't win the $10,000. We did not have it on video, unfortunately. But I was mugged by a horse. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
A very tiny horse.
Shut up! It was a
Hey,
Clydesdale.
have you been back since then?
No, I have not because I'm scared.
Well, you know now that they're gone.
They're gone, so I'll be back.
You should be safe now.
Well,
Yeah.
what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here with one of those bomb suits on, like that, so I don't get accosted by any of the animals.
We'll let you in the wolf pen, see if they attack.
Oh yeah,
We'll hang stakes on you. We'll
we
put
go.
this on YouTube.
put a pork chop around my neck.
We'll do it for charity.
That's how my parents used to get the dog to play with me. Put a pork chop.
Hey,
around
that'd
my
be a
neck.
good fundraiser for Rich.
Yeah.
For Big Rich.
Oh, we'll put him in a suit and get him eaten up. That would be funny.
Just do like a steak thing. Jump in that what was it? That giant pool they have with a bunch of feed.
There we go.
See if you get bit by an alligator gar.
No, thank you.
So we have a friend. He's in Ohio. He has a fish rescue.
Okay.
He has now 94,000 gallons in his house.
Wow.
In his house.
It's insane. He's literally converted his whole house over to this fish sanctuary. His whole idea is that he wants to take these fish that normally purchase in the aquarium hobby.
Mm-hmm.
They're not intended to be. They're 6 foot, 8 foot creatures, and has a place for them to go. So he has one massive aquarium, and it's just his private, just to rescue them. He's not there for show. If people
Yeah.
want to, they can show up, but it's not a zoo setting.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would be a big thing. Just
Yeah, they're always looking to make a little bit of money, so I
cover
think
yourself in steaks and jump in.
jump in. There we go.
Right. All right. So you give us a little taste of how it started. So your first year, you're nervous as all heck.
Uh-huh.
What happened?
What happened?
You opened the gates and
Open the gates.
you had a line going all the way into town.
Like those that second and third pre-license inspection, the third one happened the day before I planned on opening. So I in case it went south, I didn't want to advertise too much before that day, So it was I call it a silent opening. we were open, but we didn't.
Yeah, there wasn't
advertise
a lot
it
of
real
people.
big.
I was
Yeah.
there a couple days before, and you gave me a private tour. It was quite
Okay.
nice. And you were showing off the wolf pen, and there was no wolves in it because the USDA
That's right.
didn't
I
clear
forgot about
you.
that. Yeah,
You had to keep these things in a trailer because the
They
USDA
weren't in
wouldn't
the
let you
trailer.
pen.
Like the first night, they were in the trailer. I
Right.
got something set
That
up
was-
after that. Yeah.
I was there that first night.
Yeah, because under their guidelines, wolves are a dangerous game. So I had to essentially write an essay, and I'm not an essay person. I had to write an essay.
Did you hire a
on,
calligrapher?
my dangerous animal experience.
Wow.
And
You should be like I used to go to school with Steve Irwin. I wrangle crocodiles.
My nickname's Nubs.
yeah.
My nickname's Nubs.
And and the teacher to grade this essay is in North Carolina.
So you got to put some
So
Southern comfort in that.
I have to send this. I forget what it's called. Letter of whatever.
Intent.
Yeah, to this gal in
I will not feed
North
children
Carolina,
to the
and
wolves.
she's gonna grade it and decide if I'm
Gonna open or not?
good enough to exhibit my wolves, which I already own legally and everything.
Right. So you
So-
didn't want to put in your essay that if somebody doesn't pay the entry fee and they sneak in and the wolves eat them, that's just fine. They couldn't put that in there.
I couldn't put that in there.
No.
But yeah, after I think it was like 6 weeks or so, we were finally cleared with that, and yeah, we got our wolves out and on display.
So
But yeah,
how long did it take for people, like real people, to show up?
Because Robbie is not a real person.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not real.
We
Like I said,
will
we-
agree on that.
Everybody will agree on that.
Love you too.
we had like I said, silent opening. And then once a few people started coming, Facebook started blowing up. At the time, I didn't have a actual business page for the zoo.
Shame on you.
I just used my my own account, had Trowbridge Creek Zoo as the name, and I was getting like 200 friend requests a day, for people wanting to see the information on
It's
it.
fantastic.
But yeah, I'd say after the first couple weeks when word started getting around that we're finally open and everything, it really started blowing up. And then, of course, we got some news channels out of Fargo. They came and did a story, and so that got some good, cheap publicity.
Yeah,
there.
So in that first 2 weeks, you're kind of like, wow, this is going to work.
Yeah,
This is really gonna
I
work.
think we did have like 30 people that first day, which I thought was amazing. Now if we get 30 people, I was like, dang, that was a slow day. That wasn't even worth coming out here.
You're hopping and skipping.
So
Yeah.
that first day when the 30 people left, you said, "Thanks, Mom and Dad. See you later."
I think half of them were friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we didn't spend any money.
Yeah.
So by the middle of that first year, I think, I talked to you, and you started having this idea of upgrade phases.
Yeah, and that always been in the back of my mind, but I'll admit they're not happening as fast as I thought they were.
You're-
But
You didn't even know you could do a zoo a few years ago.
that's correct.
I
yeah.
mean, this is leaps and bounds, sir.
Well,
You know,
everything-
applaud yourself. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, everything costs money, and
Yeah.
if you think it's going to be $100, it's $600.
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, and people don't realize that, and they'll look at what I charge for admission, and some people are like, "That's expensive." And even if I tell people, "Yeah, we had 10,000 people that year," they're like, "Oh, you made $100,000." I'm like, "Yeah, but it cost me 200 grand to
feed
make
everything,
that."
yeah.
So I mean, there's cost to everything.
the
So how-
fencing, the USDA, the licensing, the feed.
and just the cost of the animals.
Well, you seem to be there all the time, but you have helpers. Are they just family or friends?
I got two part-time girls that in the summer they do most of the feeding. And yeah, they help a little bit in the off season. Like if I do take a short vacation or something, they can jump in and take care of stuff.
So how long have you been doing this?
We've been open 4 summers now, so we're going into our 5th summer this next year.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And how many acres do you have out there?
I own just over 40 there on the property. We developed, I'd say it's around 8 to 10 right now.
So you have 8 to 10 acres with the zoo that you pretty much
That's
have.
open right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you live on that property, correct?
Yep, on the backside of the property, so I'm there
So
all
there.
the time. Yeah.
So when he goes to sleep, he's just like,
Oh yeah.
shut up.
Wolves all night long.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So, quick question. I have seen some timber wolves in the area, over by the Frazee area a couple of years ago and stuff. When those wolves are baying, does that bring in other wolves? I mean, do other wolves show up? Where's the party?
I have not heard any wild wolves react to my wolves. Occasionally we will get some coyotes that react
They're
to
probably
them.
terrified of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one-liner from Cliff in Wabasha.
They're like, get out of here, yeah. But yeah, I've not heard any wild wolves react to mine anyway.
Okay, yeah. I happened to be driving home one night, and it was a timber wolf that went over there, and I had 2 other people in the car, and we all went, "What the?" I mean, the thing was almost as high as the hood of the vehicle, and it was a
Yeah.
bigger vehicle and stuff. And I did talk to somebody over by the Frazee area, and they said, "Oh yeah, there's a pair of them living back behind there somewhere." So they were very aware of them. So they are out there.
That's why they're saying Frazee, not Vergas. They're opposing cities.
That's right.
They need to keep away from the
Keep away
tundra.
from
I don't think wolves cross Highway 10.
Yeah.
No, clearly not. That's
my
the
guess
line.
would be
What's that,
my
Adam?
guess would be that his wolves have when they howl, that's how they notify other wolves of that this is their territory. So they're probably telling them, "This is my spot. Stay out of it." And coyotes are the only thing stupid enough to go visit with them.
Yeah.
So that's probably what's happening, is that the wild wolves won't go near your spot because your wolves are like, "This is ours," and they also sound different. So they're probably like, "Well, I don't want to go near it."
Right.
And coyotes are like, "Well, this sounds interesting. Let's go check it out."
Yeah. But yeah, the most noisy time of the year is in the fall because I got elk bugling. I got the wolves are more active in the fall howling. Fox are really loud and annoying at night. I do got some coyotes in the zoo right now, and so when the wolves go, the coyotes go all the time now. And every now and then you get a donkey going off too.
I just have a million questions. I don't know about you, Jimmy.
Do your neighbors hate you then or not?
We're far enough away.
Oh,
They,
yeah, so nobody
they
don't-
got to listen to hear it actually.
They
but
just make sure to keep their ammunition by their door. If one of the fences
Dusty,
break,
if they get out, let me know if we're headway.
Yeah.
right away. We got collars on everybody. So you talked about elk, right? Do you have issues? What do you do in the rut to prevent a lot of fighting?
For my safety and my family and my kids and for the animals themselves, a lot of the elk and the deer, I knock them out with some tranquilizer and I cut their antlers off.
So because by the time you want to knock their horns off, I'm assuming you don't want to get up and touch them. So you literally try to hit them with tranquilizer from a distance, or do you walk up to them, trank them, cut the horns off?
I got a tranquilizer gun, so I shoot a dart at them, and
Take them down safely.
10 minutes later they're sleeping on the ground, and I go in.
So do you ever auction off these antlers? Because I want a pair.
I have sold some in the past. I haven't auctioned any, but
They're not
Good.
cheap.
Less competition. Call me. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
yeah.
They're not cheap, those antlers. There's a lot of money being spent on those.
Well, imagine right up here, podcast studio, antlers out of the wall. You can
Yeah, it
see
would
it
look
right
nice.
here.
yeah,
right.
Some elk antlers would be good, but you'd probably have to mount them near the floor.
Yeah. But yeah, like I
Because they're
said,
freaking 6 feet high.
It's a coat rack. Think
Yeah,
about it.
there we
yeah.
go.
Like I said, if I don't cut them, I got more than one bull in that pen. They're gonna fight. One of them's gonna die.
So you knew this
If I
from the
don't
get go. You haven't Learned this the hard way.
Like I said, I started 20 years ago with what deer and elk, and I have lost them in the past, leaving the antlers on. So I just, and again, like I said, safety of myself and my kids and everybody, it's just best to take them off,
Do they ever try to fight without horns?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'll still headbutt.
They'll still get in each other's business.
The first couple days after they wake up, they're like kind of hung over quite a bit for a while.
Well, it's a trank,
Yeah.
You give them a good cocktail.
I got so drunk last night I lost my horns.
But yeah,
Dude, you too?
a few days later, they just got little buttons on their head, but they're still going at it. So they still get their job done as well, with the ladies. So
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So let's get to breeding, because you have a ton of animals, and Adam's sitting at the edge of his
Adam goes,
seat.
yeah, breeding.
is there any unusual breeding going on? Huh? Is that,
Not even unusual.
Wink,
I mean,
wink.
you have a ton of critters. There's got to be
Yeah.
babies and certain times a year for a lot of your creatures. What have
Yeah.
you bred? And I'm assuming you have to sell these, correct? After you get them breed, you don't just keep on
Right.
procreating a massive herd.
yeah, I mean, my kids have problems with that. Like we have wolf puppies every year, and we
So you
can't
have
keep.
4 wolves. You have puppies every year.
Yep, and we can't keep
Hey,
them all.
can I after this I need to talk.
Sure thing.
You got it, buddy.
All right, USDA is not listening, Adam, so don't worry about it.
Where was I?
You're
breeding.
telling us about puppies.
You're
and
having
how Adam
puppies
wants.
and how,
Yeah,
you
so-
make your kids cry when
And
you give them away.
I can't keep them all. Yeah, my kids get upset, but they did. They get over it.
How old are your kids?
Youngest is 6.5. Oldest is 14 now.
Wow. And
Well-
they have a huge interest in this with you?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's just like growing up on a farm, just
Yeah, it's just more
different
work.
animals,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
So you have these small pups.
Yep.
And again, you're hand feeding them, training them from a young age so you can sell them. So they're
Correct,
more
yep.
human conditioned.
Yep.
So
Just
you're-
like ours were when we
Right.
got them. Yeah.
So then your family literally has little puppies, and then you have to get rid of the puppies. That's why it's hard. It's not just
Right.
because, Dad, wolves are cool. It's literally like a dog in their house, and they have to get her up their favorite
yeah.
puppy.
Yeah. Just like you, Jim. If once you breed your dogs and have puppies, if you had kids in the house, yeah, they'd be upset with the puppies leaving.
Yeah,
It's
my,
over.
My kids are growing up. They're 28 and 26, and those are the jerks that named my dog Moose. I got no say in it whatsoever.
None.
None.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's Gracie and Moose.
Gracie and Moose, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have wolves that procreate and sell.
Yep.
The most interesting one that I found was the African porcupines that you breed.
Yes.
I want to hear about
For
this.
those that don't know, there's 2 different main types of porcupines you'll see in a zoo. The American porcupine, which it almost looks like they're just a pom-pom. You don't really notice the hard spikes from a distance.
Yeah.
The African porcupines, they're a different story. They look like they have bones sticking out of their features.
Yeah. Yeah. American porcupines quills are probably 4 inches max. I'd say it's probably more like 3 inches.
These things make you look like you went to a Pier 1 and stole them out of a vase.
Yeah. yeah.
That's
I'm sure
kind of what it
they're-
is.
Yeah. African porcupines, they can be short, as much as 2 inches, but they get up to a foot long, even longer.
And they're hollow, so they're very intimidating. When you walk up, you either piss one off or he wants to tell you that you need to back away. They'll shake their rear end, and these things are hollow, so all you hear is like a hiss, and it's
Yep.
all of these hollow quills hitting together. It's
it's
really
their,
cool.
Their tail quills rattle just like a rattlesnake, pretty much. Yeah.
First of all, where do you buy one of these things? I mean, do you buy one of the exotic animal auctions?
Our first pair of African porcupines, came from a exotic animal auction down in Missouri.
So I'm assuming these things aren't very tame.
Our first pair, no, they hated me.
They hate you so much. so how does one capture a porcupine? I mean, do you go up with big gloves and wrestle them to the ground like you're Martin
No,
Perkins?
gloves don't help at all. I just take a large grain shovel. Like if I got to move them in for the winter. Yeah,
Just a flat snow shovel and call it good?
Yeah, pretty much. I take the pet carrier, put it in the pen, and just kind of herd it into the pet carrier with the shovel, and that's about the easiest way, really.
So you breed these things.
Yep.
I've got to hear about this. I mean, how do they mate? I mean, how are they not getting
Very, very carefully.
very carefully, very slowly?
So what he does, just I don't want to give your spoilers here because you have trade secrets. We don't want to give those out.
Okay,
but
sure.
He starts out by grabbing a 80s boombox on his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
And starts playing "You're the Inspiration" by Chicago.
Oh yeah,
Right, and that song's right here.
right here.
You're the meaning in my life. You're the inspiration. You bring feeling to my life. You're the inspiration.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful.
that'll
sound.
get any porcupine going.
Yeah.
right there.
Gets them all thorny.
So that's how it gets started. But please continue on from there. What's the rest
Yeah.
of the trade
So,
secrets?
how many babies do they have at a time?
That first pair, we were doing pretty good for a while. We were the one year we had 4 litters in a year.
In a year. And,
Yeah.
and how many babies do they have per litter?
And
that
you-
took a lot of D batteries.
1 1 to 3 typically.
1 to 3.
Yeah. I never got 3. 1 or 2 was the most common.
And so when the babies are born, of course, the quills are very soft. Of course, because
They're soft until they dry off.
Okay.
So only for a short time.
so
yeah.
they're sort of like a hedgehog. Because we used to raise hedgehogs for a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah.
And those are nice little critters.
I'd rather handle a porcupine than a hedgehog.
Really.
Yeah.
The hedgehogs.
Yeah, hedgehogs are a pain in the ass.
Yeah. We had
Don't
had
put
a
'em
few
there,
for
Adam.
a while, but yeah, they were just
And they're angry.
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you end up with some babies,
Yep.
do you keep back some more females so you can have a little bit bigger brood, or do you just immediately put them up for sale somewhere after they mature?
Kind of. Sometimes we'll let the parents raise them. If there's like a sale coming up that I want to take them to or something, we'll pull them. If we do pull or decide to hand raise them, we got to pull them right away. This is just porcupines in general.
Yep.
Otherwise, they kind of become pricks.
Oh,
Pun
ba-doom-ching.
intended. Yeah.
We love it.
But yeah, we'll pull them right away and start them on the bottle and everything, get them going, and yeah.
I got actually there 2 days after one of your first batches.
Yeah.
And it was the most adorable thing. If you want to, have a cute moment or an awe moment, Google, baby porcupines and lose your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to touch them. Don't get your hands too deep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's African, but North American baby porcupines are called porcupets.
Oh,
Yeah.
porcupines.
Yep. And we typically hand raise a North American porcupine every summer as well. So
Do you guys still have a lot of North American porcupines up there? Because I saw less and less of them
are you talking about in the wild in general?
in the wild in general. Yeah.
There is quite a few. I've never seen one south of Highway 10. It's always probably about an hour north of Deal, like Park Rapids area, Bemidji.
Okay. Yep.
they generally
Yeah.
stay in the pine area.
Yeah,
from
and they're-
my experience around
Yep.
this area.
And there's definitely more pines north of Highway 10 than there is south, It's
Yeah,
just-
we're right on the edge of the Pine Central of Minnesota. From here up per Minnesota, all the way north, that's where you get all the pine territory. So we see them, just not as particular if you drive 1 hour.
right. Yep.
You have so many different creatures. What is your most difficult creatures? I would expect to be the alligator. Because you
No.
got to bring it in. You're in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
You can't leave them outside. You can't leave them in a barn. You probably have to keep them heated somewhere, at least to a decent temperature.
Yeah. Do you know the answer to this?
I don't.
I've not told you this.
No.
The alligators and the tortoises, those are 2 things. They go in my basement in the winter.
So, whoa. Let's just say you have children, right? Your children
Yep.
are going to get older. So when they get older, you're going to be like, hey, 10 o'clock or I'll feed your boyfriend to the gator.
That's how you keep the boyfriend away.
That's how you make it done right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, but yeah, and reptiles, they're really sun driven for as far as growth or something. So yeah,
I'm just trying to place yourself in your basement right now.
Yeah.
You probably have like some stock tank with the gator in it with like 8 or heat lamps over top. Like how does that set up in your basement?
You're right. It is in a stock tank. It's about 7-8 feet long. I got my 2 bigger gators in there.
How big are your gators?
I think right now they're like 5 and 6 feet long, so they're not huge. And they're not.
That 5 and 6 feet. They're not guys. They're
They're
not.
not
They're not
15
that
footers.
big. They could just kill me. I mean, they're not that big though.
No, 5
No.
6 footer ain't gonna kill you.
No, they're just gonna lop off your fingers and your name will be Nubs.
It-
All right, so
yeah.
we gotta address this, right? A
Yep.
few weeks ago, I have a little aquarium decoration. It's in the other tank over there, and there's these little glass pots you stick to the side. I decided to break one off in my hand, right? So they just healed. You kind of see some of that went to the bone.
Yeah.
So now I'm Nubs, right? That's why I can't have gators, Jimmy.
I
I know you wanted me to have gators. I can't have gators. The blood in the water type thing.
I sold Adam Cayman
Uh huh.
a while back.
No, you didn't.
Wasn't you? Oh, maybe it was
No,
Mark.
no, it wasn't me because remember I had one in the lake in Rapids and they got all pissy. They thought I had it, and I'm like, it wasn't mine.
Yeah, that was a big ordeal that they had some black caiman down in southern Minnesota. You probably saw the articles.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they somebody released. They
Some
can't
kid.
confirm if it's intentional, but they got punished regardless.
Yeah.
A handful of gators in there, and they found them kind of half alive in the fall on the shore because they're freezing to death.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, families lost their mind because it was Pure Lake, Minnesota, over by the casino.
Yeah, it was over by the casino.
highly populated area with these gators sitting there, and these weren't particularly small.
Yeah.
And they're not alligators, so they're not that friendly.
Yep.
Well, 20 years ago, I was able to purchase caiman from one of my fish suppliers,
Yeah.
and they were cheap as heck. They honestly were cheap as heck. Like, I want to say
They were like $30 wholesale.
right, wholesale.
Yeah.
And anyway, talking to those people down there and stuff, they said I'd rather handle a alligator or a crocodile before handling a caiman, because caimans are much nastier, because they have them all of them down in Florida, out in the Everglades and stuff.
Okay.
And but yeah, I sold several caiman to people in the area and stuff, and then they ended up at zoos because they got too big. Same
Yeah.
thing where they're in somebody's basement in a stock pond.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Our third alligator is just a baby one. It's about a foot, 16 inches. That one was found in Audubon.
You're kidding.
Which is a half hour.
Yeah, that's not
west of
far at
here.
all.
Yeah. And the person that found it knew we had alligators and said, "Hey, do you want this alligator I found in my backyard?" And I was like, "Yeah."
That was my first call when I heard about Prior Lake, because I was talking to some of these animal rescuers in
Yeah.
Minneapolis, and they told me nope, they died before they could get a hold of them because they froze.
Okay.
So I'm like, I got a buddy. He's got a zoo. He'd love some caiman.
You bet.
So what do
Yeah.
you feed alligators?
Our
Summer or in your basement?
our bigger ones, it's raw boneless chicken. Like
Not bone in?
I've never
Maybe for a
tried bone
treat?
in.
I mean, you don't want to risk a lot of stuff in
It'd
their
probably
mouths.
be fine, but yeah. And then some,
Amish chicken, the good stuff.
yeah.
KFC, right? KFC.
Once a week, I head to KFC.
That's right.
Gotta feed my gators.
It's cheaper and raw sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll take the 200-piece bucket, please.
The vet comes in. It's like, he's got a real high cholesterol right in. All right.
Lipitor.
It's like, all right, I'll cut the biscuits.
There we go.
Summertime, we feed the gators once a week. Winter, we offer it to them once a month, and sometimes they don't even.
So how cold is your basement?
It's it's 70 or better.
They're just not getting a lot of
it's,
sun.
It's the sunlight, yeah.
Yeah.
And we do have the UV lights and everything, but they know it's fake light, but yeah. It really is.
They're
like,
hibernating. They're doing their best.
It really is just like winter storage. I mean, we forget they're down there sometimes.
Well, a lot of the creatures, they do like a hibernation-esque,
Yeah.
deal.
At Christmas time, when everybody's over having some hot toddies and stuff, you send your Uncle John downstairs to get a can of soup or something, and comes back and goes, "What the heck?"
It starts hissing at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do make a little bit of noise.
Yeah.
So you have caiman and crocodiles, or
I just got alligators right
just
now.
alligators?
Yeah.
Okay, because crocodiles are saltwater, correct? Or am I wrong?
No,
there?
there's freshwater ones.
Yeah, there's.
there?
It's just
a few
different
freshwaters.
locations.
Okay.
There's a lot in Africa. There's like crocodiles in a lot of places, but like Florida's the gator area.
Yeah, we were down in Florida.
Florida's got crocodiles.
Yeah.
Now they're kind of recent development.
Yeah, they got. I mean, it's just like down in Florida now. You can go down there, and they're paying people to go out and get the large snakes out of the
Yeah.
bush.
The
or whatever.
pythons.
The pythons.
That
Yeah.
are exploding so heavily.
Yeah. And I believe it is the python. Yeah, they're not native there. They're just kind of like the fish.
Right.
People have them as
They're all invasive.
pets, and people release them, or a hurricane goes through and wipes out some houses, and they get
Get lost.
escaped. And
Yeah.
The
whatnot,
difference
yeah.
between Minnesota and Florida is Minnesota, if someone releases a croc in the Audubon,
Mm-hmm.
they're dead by winter. Florida, they just keep on going, procreating. It's perfect. I mean, they're vacationing like the old people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So you said you had turtles. Now, I love your turtle exhibit because it's
Tortoise.
your petting zoo area, you have this area where you put boulders. It's really a creative idea. It doesn't really work out from what I'm seeing, but you have these big
I agree.
It's so
I need to
creative.
that was supposed to be the easiest, cheapest exhibit to build. 'Cause
Right.
all those boulders I got within a mile of my place.
but now it's a big pain in your ass.
For
But
free.
I didn't realize these 50, 60-pound tortoises were going to escape from that.
Bulldozers.
Right, so to explain this, you put a bunch of boulders in a row
Yep.
around, and it's kind of like a circle area.
Yep.
And you put kids' playpens in the area, and it's like a little grassy area, and all the big tortoises you have stay
Yep.
in there. They feed on
They're
grass.
supposed to stay in there.
The kids can touch them
Yep.
and interact with the tortoises.
Yep. So the boulders are, just wide enough you can scoot your feet through and go in there with them, and we encourage that. Yeah. It's a hands-on exhibit.
But clearly, the tortoises gathered together, got pissed, and started digging out your giant boulders.
They
What species of tortoise?
sulcata tortoise.
Oh, okay, yeah, those
Yeah.
guys are assholes.
Yeah.
See, they'll dig.
Yeah, they're
They-
pretty popular. Yeah.
Adam down in down by Wabasha takes care of. He has somebody that saves reptiles and whatnot. So Adam, tell a little bit about what you do, your part-time gig with that you help out the animals, and how many tortoises you have.
Okay, yeah. They have leopard tortoises, Russian tortoises, box turtles, sulcutas. They have an Aldabra. They also have a gator and a red-tailed boa constrictor, some other snakes. And I just go there every day. I feed them, make sure they got clean water, clean up the poop, just check on them every day. I love that job.
And those tortoises you have too, they put them outside for pretty much the whole summer, don't they?
Yep. Once it gets warm enough, we let them out, and then they have like a hillside to graze with prairie plants and a bunch of basically it's like maybe half an acre outside. And I put them and I rotate them from pen to pen to pen, and they just graze. And then I move them when they get the grass too short, and just keep rotating them around so that everybody gets food at all times. And they just love the summer.
So, Adam, what is is it like chain link fencing, or what's containing them there?
He needs some ideas here.
Oh, the only way so what they did for their sulcutas to keep them in is the only way to do it is you have to bury wire chain link fence down about 4 feet.
What? 4 feet?
I believe it. Yeah, we got a
And
couple tunnels
because
along
they'll
our
dig.
rocks that are that deep.
Yeah. So what they do is they dig. So you have to bury it down like 4 feet deep, and then you also have to make sure that you don't have any like really sharp corners, because smaller tortoises will actually climb straight up the walls and get out that way.
Spider turtle. Spider turtle.
Yeah, pretty much. What else might work instead of chain link for you is actually cattle panel,
Yeah.
and that I know works because we've been able to keep them in with that.
Okay.
And then but sulcutas just dig no matter what.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing you got to do is we try to the ground that they're on is really heavy with clay,
Yep.
and it doesn't really hold well for their digging.
Okay.
So that's how they've been able to keep theirs in. Eventually we're going to dig a pond in there for the Aldabra to soak, because the Aldabras need to soak. And you know what an Aldabra is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
For the
so-
audience, tell y'all about algebra, please.
Yeah.
I'm uneducated here. Come on.
Yeah, tell me
Okay,
about
so
algebra.
if you know what a Galapagos tortoise is, it's like those big 500-pound tortoises.
The ones I wrote on back before they were legal.
They are still there.
Yeah, it's illegal to ride on them now. But an Aldabra is just from a different island in near Africa, and these are a giant tortoise that was almost extinct, and now people can buy them as pets. They're not cheap.
You should see
pets,
Dusty's
but
face. His face lighting up like, ooh,
Yeah.
more tortoises. Just what I need.
I'll give you
I was
some.
thinking. I think Galapagos are the largest.
Yep.
The whatever you just said. The ones you're talking about are the second, I believe.
Algebra.
Yes.
Algebra.
Algebra.
And I know sulcatas are the third. Get to be the third largest.
Yeah, and sulcutas are just assholes. No matter, I mean, they're fun to deal with sometimes, but
Yeah.
if you have a bunch of males, they fight. How many males and females do you have?
I got 2 males, and yeah, they're constant. Well, no. Well, I'm not real good at sexing my tortoises yet. I think we got a
Okay.
male and a female, but either way, yeah, they're constantly fighting.
He
and
only has so
flipping each
many
other
D
over.
batteries for the other animals.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Adam, what's the biggest tortoise you have over there?
That would be the Aldabra, and I think he's pushing 200 pounds.
Wow.
Holy crap.
The biggest sulcata
Yeah,
I
he's a
ever
big
saw was 400 pounds, and it took 4 full grown men to lift them.
60 more pounds, and that's Jimmy.
This is the part of the show where I say I'm going to punch you in the throat and actually do it. So, down in South Dakota, Rapid City,
Yep.
Reptile Gardens.
Yes.
When I was a kid, as all of us,
I was a kid. We went there. I rode turtles when I was like 6.
yeah,
It was great.
They have these big Galapagos turtles. Are they tortoises? Turtles.
Tortoise.
Tortoise.
Definitely
Tortoises.
tortoise.
And they are absolutely huge. So I was there, and they always have somebody kind of standing right next to them. You can go in and interact with them, but they don't want you sitting on them anymore.
Yeah.
The one, we were just there a few years ago, the one they said was like 103 years old. And she says, what's funny is that people will bring photos when they were a kid from 30, 40, 50 years ago and say, yeah, this is me as a kid. And she goes, I can look at that picture and say, it was that tortoise over there, because they've got 6 or 8 of them. I don't know.
Yeah,
how many
it's
they got.
it's a little bunch they have
Yeah.
there.
And she goes, I can look at any picture and tell you what tortoise it is just by looking at the patterns of the shells, because I've spent half my lifetime here. She goes, with these dang things.
Yeah.
I think they breed them in reptile gardens.
Do they?
I think so.
That is
I
incredible.
think so too. Yeah.
If you want to see something outrageous, go to the Reptile Gardens in Rapid City, South Dakota. It will blow your mind.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So we went through some of your toughest, but where do you keep the turtles? Along with the same place alligators in the
Yep,
basement?
in the basement, different stock tank. But yeah.
Different pen. Gotcha.
Now, you have a lot of hooved animals also over there.
Yep.
And I used to belong to one of the zoo associations down in Wapton, North Dakota.
Sure.
And I used to deal with the zebras.
Zebras are jerks.
Okay, that's what
I've
I
heard
want. That's
that
where I'm
zebras
going.
are the worst.
So my favorite thing was back in the, I want to say, late 90s or early 2000s, Wahpeton, the zoo flooded.
Yep.
And at that time...
97.
Was it 97? And at that time, I lived up here in Detroit Lakes, and I still belong to the Zoo Association, still belong to the club, and they called me out of the blue and say, we are flooding down here. Everybody that's from the area is fighting the flood. We need people to help evacuate the animals. Can you come help us? And I went, yep, I'll be down there in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I got in my car, went down there, not really knowing what to expect. And so I got down in near Breckenridge, which is, for people listening, Breckenridge, Wahpeton are sister cities. One's in Minnesota, one's in North Dakota. And from there, the National Guard took me in Humvees. And we went into the zoo, and I got elected to help take out the two meanest freaking animals. The first one were the bald eagles.
America.
And the only way you can keep bald eagles is if they've been rehabilitated because they have a broken wing or they can't be released out into the wild.
Right.
The water was about 4.5 foot deep, and they were scared to death, and the water is ice cold. I have waders. I go in there, and I grab a hold of this eagle. They actually had is there a certain word they have where they have the little leather things they put on the legs for the
Oh.
eagles? I don't know if
Oh,
they
the trusses?
are they, that what they called Adam? Trusses?
Yeah,
That could be.
yeah. That's the like tethers, right?
Right. So somebody had gotten in there, got the tethers on the darn thing, and then got out of there. So I went in and grabbed the eagle. And it was a young male, and he had one good wing, one bad wing, and he beat the living tar out of me. But what hurt the worst is I had a pair of leather big gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed a hold of my thumb, and I thought he was going to break my thumb. And my thumb turned black and blue and went up all the way up about 6 inches up into my hand by the time I got him out of there. And then the next thing they sent me over was to go get the zebras. And we're trying to get the zebras.
And you have, no offense, like zero animal experience before this?
I grew up on a farm. I didn't know how to herd a hog.
But I just find it odd.
Yeah.
They call you out of the blue
Well-
and stick you in with the bald eagles and zebras.
They
you know,
literally
that's-
wrote him that he was supposed to be an exhibit. He was supposed to be part of the
Yeah.
monkeys.
I had lived in Wahpeton for quite a few years, and so I was a volunteer zookeeper
Oh, okay.
and stuff. So yeah, I'd had some
So you a
experience.
little bit, okay.
but
That's
you know,
a little
not
bit
in your
better.
face up and close, you
Right.
know. And so then we had to move the zebras, and who shows up but our friends from the
Oh,
government
yeah.
to tell us that we can't.
From where?
The government.
Did
The
you-
government. All right.
Did
Oh, I
you
fucking
did
hate
something?
them.
Yeah.
Hold on, Dad.
You're making me edit a lot here. bro.
Calm down, dude. So anyway, they're telling us we had people that were in Minnesota that said, I've got a barn, I can take these things. And they're saying you can't take them over state lines.
Right.
And the zookeepers are going, people, have you noticed that the water has gone up 6 inches since we've stood here talking in
And
waders?
it goes deeper the farther.
It is. It's
west you
horrible.
went, yeah.
Yeah. At that time, when they had 4 or 5 zebras, we got the females in, but we couldn't get the male in.
Uh-huh.
And so somebody thought it'd be a really good idea if we just got a piece of plywood and just kind of try to push him into the trailer.
Oh.
And he kicked through the plywood and hit me on the inner thigh next to my.
I thought that was
happy
a
place.
tattoo.
No, it's not a tattoo.
Well, quit wearing a Speedo around
Yeah.
me. It's gross.
And so by the time I got home, it looked like the Hell's Angels had kicked my ass.
Yeah.
Because I got beat up by an eagle who had given me a black eye and a bad thumb, and then I got kicked darn near in the crotch by this zebra.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, we're fighting with the government that we can't take these things out of there. And finally, they kind of just got ran off. They said, you need to leave. And,
Yeah, you're not helping. Just
Right.
Yeah.
And so we moved all these animals and stuff. And a lot of these animals, it was like Noah's Ark in this guy's barn. And he just happened to have this huge horse barn with all these different stalls.
Oh, that's perfect.
And he had just built it brand new and hadn't gotten any horses yet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
What
it
a
was-
miracle.
It was
That-
like Noah's Ark in there.
That was like, yeah, perfect.
And very lucky. But yeah, zebras are dicks.
Yeah.
Your horse is a dick, and zebras are dicks.
So now you're 4 summers into it. Next year's the 5th summer, right?
Shifting gears now.
Shifting
What
gears.
other dick animals can you get? No, what do you have
Yeah.
right now? So again, just start rattling off because this is like your flex area. Like I'm a great zoo. Hit
Yeah.
me with some names. What do you got, top to bottom?
Anytime anybody asks me what I gotta visually go through the zoo in my head.
Let's do it. Let's walk
so
through
you
together.
walk in the gates. We got Sika deer. We got dromedary camels.
Well, I was gonna say you got to talk about the camels. That's the
Yeah.
first thing when I see there.
Yeah.
Spitters.
You have this special area to do camel rides, even.
Yep.
You're a cool zoo,
Yep. Our second year we started doing camel rides.
right? And then you also said, please don't smoke. I know it's a camel Don't smoke here.
Yep.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. So camels, kangaroos. We got a couple wallabies.
Okay, I have questions. I'll just wait.
And,
And here's my other
time.
point.
There we go.
Again, anytime somebody asks me that, what animals
You
they
can't
got,
get through
I
it all.
can't get to 5 without another question popping up.
All right, you get
I'll
2
just write 'em
questions here,
down.
Adam. Come on now.
No, I'll wait.
All right,
Keep going.
Keep going.
Okay, muntjac deer, Rob's favorite, capybaras,
Darn right.
or as I like to call them, crappy bears.
These things are the sexiest rodents you've ever seen.
100-pound guinea pigs.
That's
basically.
exactly what they are.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
We got some rheas, we got some emu.
Wait. They're not kosher, Jimmy. You should watch your palate. All right, continue.
I'm not Jewish.
Awdads.
What are crawdads?
But he is
Awdads.
circumcised.
Awdads.
Awdad, yeah. Barbary sheep of North Africa.
Are those
It's like Africa's bighorn sheep. pretty
Are those
much.
the ones with the creepy eyes?
They all
Yeah.
have creepy eyes.
Yeah, the sheep, they were right along the lake there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, continue.
They're eyeballing me.
Let's see, we got some Nilgai antelope, whitetail.
Not to be mistaken with Neil Young antelope.
He's just making shit up now.
Yeah.
We started with a male, and when we got our female, my daughter was like, is this a Neil girl? And it just caught me
Wah,
off
wah,
guard.
wah.
And it was hilarious. But yeah, then we got whitetails. We got some scimitar horned oryx, which are actually extinct in the wild.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He had to beat up an old lady to get one.
Pear David's deer. I think I said earlier, we got the only herd of them in Minnesota, so that's pretty cool.
Swag.
Yep.
Do you still have prairie dogs in that same area?
Yes, prairie dogs.
It's cool because you don't have like a cage for these things. You just set up a
Right.
den and they're kind of just everywhere. They'll
Yeah,
stay
they're-
around
they're-
home.
I don't want to say they're free ranging, but they're not contained.
They're free ranging.
But they are established.
If the USDA is
Yeah.
listening, they're contained.
And the USDA does not like them.
Aren't they kind of like the worst animal there? That I went to the
What? They
Like,
are
no,
cuter
like-
than hell.
No, but
that's
they're
one of
like-
my favorites.
I
they're
like
one
them.
of the meanest.
No, they're
they're not
fine.
mean.
They're fine. They do their own thing. I don't have to feed them. I don't have to water them. I have to do anything
Oh.
with them. I just look at them.
One of them came up to my cup. They were real friendly and personable.
Yeah.
You know, when you go out in western North Dakota, they're everywhere out in western North Dakota, out in the Badlands, and they have prairie dog towns, and people sit there and watch them for hours.
Yeah. And we've managed to keep our prairie dog town around a dozen or so.
Yeah, you keep it like right in the middle of the hooved pens, like
Yeah.
right in the middle.
I used to have American bison in that pen, and it looked more natural then. But
So like compared like the prairie dogs to the Red River Zoo to yours, like
Yeah.
Red River Zoo, you can't even stand the smell because they got this pen that's just dug up everywhere.
it's a
It's not
concrete
natural
dog
at
town.
all.
Yeah.
It's real bad. Like
Yeah.
yours, it's fun. They're seem like a natural habitat. But
Yeah.
continue.
Okay, red deer, elk. We got the farmyard petting zoo area. Just goats, sheep.
You still got fuzzy pigs?
No.
Darn.
Fuzzy pig.
They're fuzzy pigs.
Because
I
of
don't know what they're
USDA,
called.
I got rid of those. Yeah.
They said that you couldn't have
They-
that unless you fried
No.
bacon.
They my inspector's issue was
He wasn't paid enough. He had to work
they-
on the
they were-
weekend.
So they were digging underneath the fence because they're pigs. Pigs dig.
Right.
And so what we did, what any farmer would do, we put hog rings in their nose to keep them from digging.
Right.
Well, she didn't like that because it wasn't natural.
It's a pig.
And at the time, I'm like,
Nothing's natural about that
kind
critter.
of like the tortoises. If you got to dig a fence 4 feet deep, it was not worth it for me at the time to dig a fence 4 feet deep. So I just
You're keeping the tortoises. Just to let you know
yeah,
that.
yeah,
All
we're
right.
keeping those.
Good.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we butchered the pigs and
No, you didn't hear that.
yeah,
They're in a better place.
yeah. So goats, sheep. We got some miniature cattle, miniature donkeys. Then we got the
Emus?
emus. I mentioned that already.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, pay attention.
I'm just trying to go through in my head while we're doing this.
We got some coyotes. I just picked up a black-backed jackal last fall. It's like an African coyote, pretty much.
Flex.
We got Arctic marble fox, red fox, and silver fox. Tundra wolves, alligators, American porcupines, bobcats, North American raccoon.
You also have an aviary, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we got some macaw parrots, and we had some green wings. We got rid of the green wings because they were jerks. To me, anyway. They were jerk. The male was jerk to
Is that
me.
why your hand's shaking while you talk about him?
No.
No,
I'm-
as he
I'm-
shakes his hand.
I'm just counting with my fingers. Yeah, we got parrots. What else? We got a kinkajou,
You're
No.
just making stuff up now. What's that? What's a Kinkajou?
Okay, Kinkajou. Do you know what a Pikachu is from Pokemon?
I do actually.
You do? It's nothing like that.
Nothing like that at all.
Good start.
You
That was a good
walked
start.
right into my best zoo joke.
I
Right
know.
there.
Best zoo
Yeah.
joke.
When you've only got 4, I thought.
Hey,
give it-
hey, are you a Pokestop for Pokemon Go?
I think we are. I'll buy your sign. I think
Now
we
you
are.
have a new zoo contest.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think it'd be interesting to do a Pokestop on the back of one of the wolves.
I think we just stopped you from your list again. We got to finish
Yeah.
up the list.
Okay, I think Mountain Cotamundee and White Nose Cotamundee. It's South American raccoon, pretty much. Patagonian cavies.
They're way better, by the way.
Yeah. Patagonian cavies. We got ring-tailed lemurs. We got some eland antelope, fallow deer, and zebras. Yeah. And we also...
What about the cranes? Don't you still have those?
Oh, yeah, the cranes. We got some Stanley cranes. Yeah, I didn't get them out this year
No?
for some reason. Yeah.
I needed to go more this year. I
I-
think
I-
I only went once in the spring.
For 2 years, I had a temporary pen set up for them, and I just didn't feel like building it and taking it down this year, so I didn't get them out. Also, this year we got a owl monkey that's coming,
Ooh.
Once again, making up stuff again.
and even better, we have a snow monkey.
Oh,
Yeah, the snow monkey right now is in my house.
okay.
My daughters
Wait.
take care of them.
Are these the same monkeys that like have little jacuzzis in their natural
They
habitat?
are. They
Are you
are.
going to make a little jacuzzi?
I told my wife we need a jacuzzi now for
Hell
the monkey.
yeah.
Snow monkey.
Just like, what you doing? And you're just sitting there taking selfies in your jacuzzi
with the monkey.
with the monkey. He's picking ticks. You know what I mean?
Picking dicks and
Picking ticks.
Yeah.
chiggers off.
Yeah, we got some peacocks roaming around.
Also,
Yeah.
fun fact, peacocks will make you crap your pants if you're not prepared in the middle of the night. They will just scream out of the middle of the trees.
Yeah,
Like, what? Oh, okay.
yeah, we're so used to them now.
Are you?
Yeah, we sleep right through it.
I mean, you could sleep through a literal zoo.
Yeah.
There we go. So what's on your wish list?
Wish list?
What's on your wish list?
Yeah, if Adam's sitting there at night and he's looking at some magazines and he's got some weird people to talk to, what's he going to send your way?
yeah.
My wish again, a giraffe would be cool, just not feasible at this point. You know,
Do you have a place to donate to help with animals?
we used to have a giraffe donation chart up, and then I remodeled, and I just didn't get it back up. But yeah, we will take donations for that.
So what is your website and how do people donate?
What is my website? Our website is trowbridgecreekzoo.com. Donations, I think we just do in person, right? Or if you want.
Oh, we'll fix that. We're gonna
Yeah.
get a PayPal link up there.
Yeah.
We're gonna make this digital and have stuff flow in for you. Yeah. So
Awesome. Yeah.
go to trowbridgecreekzoo.com and I'll strong arm them. Don't worry, you'll be able to donate some money. Get him that giraffe.
I'm still waiting. What other thing does he want besides a giraffe?
He's sitting at the edge of his seat. You have no idea.
Well, before I leave giraffe, before you get a giraffe, you need a giraffe barn, especially in
Well, yeah.
Minnesota.
That's
Yeah.
part of it. That's like a kit. You buy like I want an aquarium. You just don't get fish. You buy a tank.
And that's
Petco.
probably you're probably gonna be close to $100,000 just in the barn itself before you even purchase the giraffe. So that's why that's a little far out yet.
You'll get there.
But the next things on my list would probably be hyenas and warthogs.
Oh, I know a guy.
Perfect.
I knew that was coming.
Perfect.
Anytime you need some weird stuff, Adam's like, I know a guy.
I know a guy.
He goes to
Okay.
Missouri, if you know what I mean.
No. There is. I'll talk about it off the air.
Okay, I probably know the guy already.
Probably knows a guy. He's probably already got his stuff.
He's like, I know the guy that did Timon and Pumbaa. Like that. That's the guy.
Yeah.
See, there's a story behind this. My wife, when we found out we were pregnant with our first daughter, I was like, I want hyenas because I figured any teenage boy that could go through a pack of hyenas is good enough to date my teenage daughter.
there you go.
And she bet me that I couldn't find hyenas. And it took me like 2 emails and a phone call. And I
And a
found it.
beer. And a beer. Don't forget the most important ingredient.
And besides the hyenas,
Warthogs.
Oh,
is my other
okay.
one. Yeah.
Warthog. See, Adam doesn't have a warthog connection.
No,
How
I don't
long?
have a warthog guy.
How long until you get a big cat? Come on now.
Big cat. I do have a buddy with snow leopards.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ooh.
How do you not get that in your zoo immediately? Like those must cost a pretty penny.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's not go there. Yeah. They do,
Not
but
snow leopards?
they are endangered. So
Clearly, that's why I'm blown away.
Technically, you're not supposed to take money for them. You can donate them, but you can't take money for them.
Gotcha. So there's
Technically.
So what do these big zoos do? I mean, when something like that, I mean, do they just
Yeah.
trade them, they loan them, that sort of thing?
For something like that where you're not supposed to sell them, yeah, you there's probably something
I
going
got
on.
8 African
back.
porcupines
Yeah.
and a goat.
Yeah, it's zoo, not logistics, but
zoo etiquette.
It's part of the business.
Yeah,
Number
yeah.
one.
Yeah, you usually trade. It's basically trading.
You know,
bartering.
I just read an interesting article about the pandas that we get. And the pandas that are in the United States, none of them are owned by any of the zoos, but they rent them. They rent those pandas for $100,000 each
Wow.
to the zoos, like the Columbus Zoo and stuff. And they do big fundraisers and stuff so they can get pandas. But once they get the pandas, the amount of people they get in the zoo just quadruples and whatnot. I don't know why people love the pandas so much.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, look at they got to bring in bamboo every day to feed them those darn things and stuff. And I mean, that's just not logistically even possible up in this neck of the woods.
Yeah.
You know,
And I personally, pandas don't really excite me too much, but yeah,
No,
like you said, some people go crazy over them for some reason.
I would love to have some giraffes in the area. I mean, I know that Como Zoo down in Minneapolis has some giraffes, and I know there's some to our east
Yep.
and whatnot.
There's actually 25 privately owned giraffes in Minnesota. I knew a guy up north, and he knew everybody, and I'll give you his name too.
Yeah, I know
We're
who
going
you're
to have
talking
a
about.
conversation after this. But.
Yeah.
So
I
besides,
feel like we're running a black market here somehow.
I know, right? Besides your wish list,
Yes.
what's some of the things we can expect? Give us some secrets to the future of your zoo. What's what are these phases you talked about?
Yeah, phases are basically just additions I want to do, and one that me and Rob have talked about a lot is I got a pond in a corner of the property that once I get that fenced in, we're gonna have a pier going out there, and we're gonna have some koi fish and. Lots
So
of
you
other
talked
things.
about a waterfowl rehabilitation center. Is that still a viable idea?
I don't know about rehabilitation. It'd be more like along the lines of the Baltic. If you can't rehabilitate it back to the wild,
It's a place to
it'd
heal,
be-
and if they don't heal, there's their home.
right? Yeah. Yep.
The plan that you spoke of is you have this pond. It's all within your property. There's two giant bluffs behind it, so even if you had a massive flood, it would have to flood the earth before these would overflow. And they seem to be not necessarily man-made. They could possibly be man-made, but there's definitely no connecting body of water. So
Right.
a pier across it, having broken wing waterfowl and koi below it.
Mm-hmm.
And koi in their natural setting, so they have, hopefully, we're still trying to measure, but hopefully over 6 feet so they can winterize
Yeah.
on their own with some little help with aerators and goodies. But what other stuff that you got going? I know you have the entire front of the zoo that you had some ideas with, some more hooved animals.
Yeah, I'd say along with that pond area, the rest of the wooded area in the zoo, I want to do more of the North American, like cougars. That would be a big cat, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lynx, badgers, stuff like that.
So you have
bears. Yeah.
badgers, bears, and then 65-year-old women wearing leopard print.
Cougars.
Yeah.
Cougars.
The nanny.
It's
That's what
behi-
keeps going through
it's
my head
behind
every
a
time I
black-
make that joke.
Behind a black curtain, right?
Right. Vergus, Minnesota, TrowbridgeCreekZoo.com, but go to your Facebook page to find more of
yeah.
the information. That's where
Facebook's
you have
probably-
the videos, the
That's
content.
probably the best place to get content, yeah.
And if you want news, like did they have a baby porcupine, and you want to see the cute baby lemurs, that's the place to see it. You're going to get the updates and the notifications and the events, because you've had a lot of events there in the past.
Yeah, we have.
What's some upcoming events you're going to do this year that you're thinking about? Fish show. Fish show. I'm sorry, what?
I'm sure. I think we're doing Kids Day first Saturday in June. I think it is. We sometimes on the 4th of July, kind of depending when it is, we'll have a event, and then every fall we've had a fall fest as well, and yeah, always great turnouts.
Well, that and he's going to be doing a Pokemon Go tournament at his establishment.
Does he know this yet? Probably not.
So one of the fun things we did here in Perham, just for food for thought, and when people are listening, if you have a business that has a Pokemon stop, this is fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do is you can have a bug catching competition. So what they do is they go to your business and they're going to pay an entry fee for access for your zoo, right?
Right.
But you offer a prize, whatever the prize may be, cash, tickets, whatever else.
Free
And
giraffe.
They have to catch a bug-type Pokemon inside the range of your zoo
Mm-hmm.
during that day, and whoever has the highest rated, the biggest Pokemon
Yeah.
gets the prize.
Interesting.
You have a first, second, and third place. They did that in Perham over at the ice cream parlor. You had to catch it somewhere within city limits.
Mm-hmm.
Worked out really well. Just all kinds of people showed up.
Nice.
Now you gotta get.
I think I
into
should
that.
do whoever can kill the most flies
Right.
will get a prize.
There you go. And your prizes, you can take them all home.
Yeah.
Take them out, put them in your pocket.
There's another expense people don't think.
Flies.
Pest control.
Yeah, you got to spray, don't you? In a lot of spots.
And this year, I don't know if it's just a bad year or what. I spent over $2,000 on trying to get rid of the flies. They were still terrible.
well,
but
now the zoo is growing bigger, right?
Yep.
They have a taste for camel.
That's probably
what,
it.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
I bet
They're
you-
exotic flies.
Right.
Yeah. I bet you Adam knows a guy
knows a guy.
who can get you some lizards to eat those flies, probably.
Yeah.
I probably do.
You got to paint up those kennels. Use advertisement space like a NASCAR.
Yeah.
Yeah, be like United Community Bank. Just
Oh yeah.
paint it on the fur.
That won't tick people off.
No, that's not.
No,
gonna
we
get the
painted our
USDA.
camels. Just like what they do at Easter time. There's always some numbskull who paints baby chicks,
Yeah.
and sells them at a pet store, and people lose their mind.
Hey, those normally taste like marshmallow, though.
Oh yeah, like the little peeps.
Right. That's
There we
what-
go.
Oh, you're not talking about peeps.
No, I'm talking
Oh.
about real live chickens.
I won't eat those this
and
time.
they paint them bright pink, bright blue, and
Yeah.
then people just lose their mind.
They'll do that with the rabbits too.
Yep.
I don't know. I see your wife. She has purple hair. No one complains
She does
about
have purple
that.
hair. And you know why? Because when we are on the cruise or at a concert, I can find her in the crowd. Or at least I can narrow it down to 25 people.
You just look up for me.
Yeah. Going along with that, sheep farmers. For every 100 sheep you have, you put in one black sheep. So if you got country sheep, you just count how many black sheep you have.
That's
So if
kinda
you're missing a black sheep,
Whoa,
you're
hold on.
missing 100 sheep.
Hold on. What if they have 150? Do they plant one like half black, like
Yeah.
a cow?
Yeah, maybe they'd go by 50.
Halvesies? I don't
something
know.
like
Oh,
that,
God.
yeah.
HR is going to be down here again.
All right. Well,
Okay.
is Adam? You had questions that you saved up so politely.
I can they can wait.
Are you sure? Because the audience is listening. They might want to be a part of a couple of those.
Okay, you just have the what species of kangaroo do you have? Do you have the reds or the grays?
I got one gray and two reds.
Okay, now I was wondering because I was looking into wallabies at one time, and somebody had told me that
It's so nonchalant. I was looking at wallabies.
Is this the type of nuts people that you hang out with? They're like, I was looking at wallabies.
How have I not met Adam before, right?
Yeah. How does he not have a zoo?
Okay, well, anyways,
He's got
the
4
people that I
kids.
was talking to because they said that you had to shield the water because if the bird's crapping it, there's a parasite that'll kill the wallabies. Is that the same way for kangaroos?
Wow. I think Dusty just fell off his chair.
This is
Like,
why Dusty brought a cap on his water bottle.
That is the first I've ever heard of that. I'm not saying
Okay.
it's
Giggle that on the inner tube there, Adam.
I'm not saying it's false, but it's probably.
There's something behind it.
Horse pucky.
I mean, our water bowls are maybe 3 gallons, so the chances of a bird carrying the disease or whatever and crapping it is probably pretty rare, and they get cleaned out daily. So
Well, that's what I mean. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I couldn't understand because it just made no sense. Why would a bird carry something that would kill, a wallaby or a kangaroo?
yeah,
So what other questions you got, buddy?
I wouldn't worry about that. Go ahead and get your wallaby.
Get 6 wallabies.
Okay.
Get a whole pod.
Since Minnesota changed their rules a few years ago so that you couldn't have primates and wolves and big cats, how do
It was
you-
no, I don't think it was wolves. I think it's just big cats and primates. Wolves might be on there.
wolves
But
were
anyway.
put on there, and then bears too.
Yeah.
Oh
How
my!
do you have to get
Lions and
switched
tigers and
to
bears.
like a zoo in order to get them, or how did you go about it?
It all boils down to your local law enforcement. It really does. When I was
Okay.
looking into getting lemurs, I called my USDA person. They're like, "Well, it's up to your state rules and everything. We just regulate how you exhibit them." So I called my Board of Animal Health. They kind of had the same answer. It's against the law, but it's up to your local authorities if they're going to enforce it. So then I called my local game warden that does game farm license, and he's like, "Well, you got your USDA license. I'm cool with you having them,
So you're asking for permission from literally everybody.
from everybody." And then I called the local sheriff's office, and same thing. They checked in to make sure I had a USDA exhibitor's license, and they're like, "Yeah, we're cool with it." But not every county is going to be the same on that. So I basically
Okay.
got permission. I didn't get any no's.
Yeah, you go down to Hennepin. There's too many famous people getting mauled by tigers that you can't do that in the
Yeah.
Minneapolis. No, but up here, I mean,
In the metro area, I can see that.
So yeah, what I'm saying is I do have special permission from Otter Tail County to
Okay.
have primates.
So the other question I have is, you're not an AZA zoo, right?
No, and I don't want to speak badly about them. I'm kind of against AZA because they're not really, they're not bad, but they're not really in, like my scimitar horned oryx. They'd rather fix all the males and not breed them.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, no, we need to repopulate the world with these things. They're extinct in the wild. But I am ZAA.
there are running differences between you.
Yeah, so AZA is more like your government funded zoo, but we are like they call it a ZAA, zoological. I forget what it's called.
We got him on the spot.
It's more for like smaller guys like myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
These were good
Alrighty.
questions.
Wow, I was really
Cliff has
impressed.
got his
Yeah.
game today.
He is.
Well,
he is-
no, I like all this stuff, and yeah, I'll just go into it later.
Adam's gonna be having a podcast
Right here.
by himself tonight.
This is his favorite podcast by far.
Adam, he's so excited. I feel like I have to talk him off a ledge or something. My goodness.
Don't worry, he was like this before we were on the podcast. Oh, a zoo? Let's do it. But all right, no more questions then, Adam. You want to take the rest offline?
Oh, the capybaras, are they as friendly as regular guinea pigs? Because guinea pigs are awesome.
They're more friendly. Don't let them kid you.
They poop more.
If you hand raise them, they're pretty friendly. Ours are just they're not wild, but they weren't hand raised. They were mother raised, so they're just basically a breeding group.
Google petting capybaras, and you'll get this whole thing where they're getting massaged and they just like make these faces.
Mm-hmm.
They're cute. You may hate them, but I love them.
Down where you're at, if you look up Cockadoodle Zoo,
That sounded dirty.
I
just
feel
one.
like you're trolling him.
he's a friend of mine. He's got a permanent spot set up at Maplewood Mall right now.
that just started.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
right around last weekend.
And he picked up he got a capybara baby from me this past spring. And I'm sure that one's good and cuddly for you and everything.
I'm just trying to think. So what mall is it down in Minneapolis that they put this in? I mean,
It's
Maplewood Mall, correct?
I know it's Maplewood something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just made the news down in Minneapolis here, and they took part of the mall and leased it out to him for a long time. Way it sounds.
Yeah. Since I've known him, he's been wanting to get into Mall of America, but it's just too big.
Too
you know?
expensive.
Yeah, too expensive. I can't remember what the rent was.
I
It
mean,
was like
the Mall of America is going
over
to
$1
a
million
fifth
a year.
floor now, and of course they already have apartments, and all this other craziness. The bottom floor is done with Sea Life. It's
Yep.
that giant aquarium. They're vastly running out of space.
Yeah. So yeah. Like I said, I think rent was like over $1 million or something.
Well, they probably do it like
Crazy
a
amount.
contractor that to pay over his time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that I'm glad he's got something going now. It's not his big dream of Mall of America. It's in a smaller mall, but so it's been successful for him. I know.
Yeah, that's the problem we have up here in northern Minnesota. I mean, you have a short season because I mean,
Yeah,
when
it
it's
really
10
is.
below, I'm not going to come over and look at your cacaberry
Yeah.
because it's probably
Yeah.
all shriveled up and
Cacaberry.
Yeah.
I don't know. What the hell. He's just making stuff
Yeah,
up.
No
it's
more
funny.
beer.
In the spring,
Yep.
before the snow's even gone, I'll get people that come up my private driveway, ask if we're open, and we're like, the gates are closed. We're closed. We're not. We got
Yeah.
some spring cleaning to do first.
I'm sorry. I'll leave you alone next spring. I promise.
I don't think you were quite that bad, but
Close. I'm
He
close.
he was.
but yeah, in the fall, really, once it starts getting below 50 degrees, you just don't get the traffic, and it's not worth it.
Now, are you doing any programs with like the local schools and stuff for education to get the kids in and stuff?
I've done a few. I'm not the best.
He's
What do you
willing
want to say?
though. You've done it
I've-
for
I've-
fairs
I've-
and whatnot.
Yeah, well, we do mobile petting zoos, I say.
Right, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, we do probably 10 to 12 small town festivals every summer.
Don't call him for catering.
But as far as the schools, I haven't done a lot of that. I'm not much of a public speaker to little kids.
There you go, Jimmy.
Ironically.
There's a job position open.
A job
Yeah.
open from little kids love me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll ask you about the capyberries or whatever.
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
can't pronounce.
I can't pronounce a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I got to put up with my own kids, so you put me in a room with a bunch more that aren't going to listen.
How many kids do you
Doesn't-
have?
I got 6.
See, Adam,
Yeah.
you have no excuse. Get a zoo going.
You've got 6 kids?
I do. Yeah.
Dang.
When
he's
do you have
beating
time?
me.
This
I
was
gotta have a chat with my wife.
pre-zoo.
Pre-zoo, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
My
pre-zoo.
God.
But along with the petting zoo, kind of an off-season gig, if you will. After Thanksgiving, we start nativities. So we bring a camel, a donkey, a ox, sheep, and goats.
Can we dress Jimmy up as Santa and have caribou?
Oh, you bet.
I'll be one of the 3 wise men. Matter of fact, I'll be all
Yeah.
Hey.
of the wise men.
Hey, we'll dress my wife up as an elf. It'll be great.
Yeah.
If the 3 wise men were wise, they wouldn't have camels.
That's right, because they're spitters.
No, they don't spit.
They don't
No.
spit?
If they're super pissed off at you, they will spit.
He's got a fun camel. Right?
I got one.
So out
that's-
of all the camels that you know, this is the most fun
I
camel
know-
you know.
I
How many
know-
camels do you know, Robbie?
I know 2.
You know 2 camels.
Right, his camel and then the one that you're not supposed to smoke anymore.
Wow. This is where right here is where you can put the crickets chirping for that really bad.
I'll get
joke.
right on that.
So
Can you? I'm the one that edits this. I hope
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
right.
So I don't put crickets on myself.
I know. So do you have a 1-hump camel or a 2-hump camel?
we got 1 hump camels.
I thought he was going to say 3.
I hate that joke. I get that joke because I do the camel rides, and I get every kid. What do you call a 3-hump? I'm sick and tired of
What
that.
do you call a 3M camel?
Hey,
I don't know
that
the
was-
joke.
I don't know that.
No,
Really, you guys you still have to watch Zootopia.
What is a
That's
3
what
hump
it comes
camel?
out.
it's an animated kids movie that came out a few years ago.
Save me 2 hours of my life.
All right, a 3-hump camel.
Yeah?
Is pregnant.
Oh.
Which it's kind of a dumb joke because it'd have to be a Bactrian camel to have the first.
He's
two.
analyzing this way too much.
Yeah, that's why every zookeeper hates that joke.
Do they?
I just hear it too much.
You know what you
That's
do
why
when,
I'm
when those
sick of
kids ask you? You punch them right in the throat.
What it,
it. That'll go well.
We're gonna get him a T-shirt now.
I'm getting him a T-shirt.
what it is they tell that joke to a sloth, and the sloth's expressions is so funny because it's such a slow expression.
That Zootopia.
Yeah.
That was the best movie ever because the sloth worked at the DMV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where the joke comes from.
I must have been drunk. But no, that DMV joke where the sloth is there stamping stuff was freaking hilarious.
Again, thank you, Dusty, for your time coming. You're here in person. We don't get this a lot, so it's nice to get you local. This is your off season, so
Yeah, you bet.
tackle you before you get busy and start opening, Koi in the Pond or some other aquatic species. We'll talk. If you guys want to support them, again, TrowbridgeCreekZoo.com. And find him on Facebook as well. We're going to get him to put PayPal on his website so you can throw money at him so we can get that giraffe finally.
Yeah.
If you guys are looking for rates, they're on the website. Otherwise, you can get a season pass, which is by far the best way to go if you're in the local Minnesota area, and help support the zoo. Just mention the aquarium guys, and maybe he'll give you some another free scoop of feed to give him. You never know.
Oh yeah.
And if you know somebody out there with a giraffe that's just causing trouble, and you want to donate a giraffe, send them our way because we'll happily put them up in a $100,000 barn because Dusty's got nothing but money and time.
Nothing but
Oh,
money
yeah.
and time. Exactly. Well, thanks again, buddy, and let's kick that outro.
You're not supposed to knock me in the head with the stump.
Darn it, Jimmy. Give me the right outro this time. All right, let's do it.
Thanks, guys, for listening to this podcast. Please visit us at aquariumguyspodcast.com and listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and anywhere you can listen to podcasts.
We're practically
Thanks.
everywhere. We're on Google. I mean, just go to your favorite place. Pocket Casts. Subscribe to make sure it gets push notifications directly to your phone. Otherwise, Jim will be crying into sleep.
Can I listen to it in my treehouse?
In your treehouse, in your fish room, even alone at work.
What about at my man cave?
Especially your man cave.
Yeah.
Only if Adam's there
No.
with feeder guppies.
No.
They're endless.
You midget loving sucking motherfucker.
Well, I guess we'll see you next time. Later.